The 10 best gangster movies of all time, ranked. Clearly, gangsterism is a diverse profession, and so are gangster movies. Many are loud and violent, sure, but plenty others are smart, pensive and icily cool. Some are romantic, others funny, and a few just plain weird. You'll find all kinds on our definitive list of the best gangster movies of all time. Let's crack open the bank vault and look around, because in these films, crime does pay. 10. Scarface, 1983. Al Pacino stars in one of his most iconic roles in Brian de Palma's 1983 crime drama Scarface. The second film adaptation of the 1929 eponymous novel, Scarface chronicles the rise and fall of Cuban drug lord Tony Montana in 1980s Miami. Michelle Pfeiffer and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio also star. Scarface is an ode to excess, ultra-violent, stylish, and shameless. The film offers an intricate and erratic portrayal of morality in a world where such values have no place. Powered by a now legendary, unhinged performance from Pacino, Scarface is thrilling, shocking, endlessly quotable, and utterly unforgettable. A film that goes so far past the point of no return, it finds it again. 9. Little Caesar, 1931. The gangster genre had a fruitful 1931, with two defining projects coming months apart. January saw the release of Mervyn Leroy's Little Caesar, starring Warner Brothers contract player Edward G. Robinson and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. The film follows Caesar Enrico Little Caesar Bundello, a small-time criminal who ruthlessly rises to the top of Chicago's organized crime. More than other pre-code gangster films, Little Caesar earns its legendary status thanks to Edward G. Robinson's explosive turn as the titular criminal. Charming, volatile, violent, and instantly iconic, Robinson's Little Caesar is a defining figure for the crime genre, creating the archetype of the gangster, often imitated but seldom surpassed. 8. The Public Enemy, 1931. 3 months after Little Caesar's release, William A. Wellman's The Public Enemy premiered. James Cagney starred as Tom Powers, a young Irish-American man who slowly becomes a prominent and dangerous criminal in Prohibition-era Chicago. Jean Harlow and Joan Blondell also starred. Featuring a particularly memorable scene involving a grapefruit, The Public Enemy is an institution in the world of gangster films. Underrated and discarded at the time of its release, The Public Enemy has since become a classic, celebrated for its vicious portrayal of youth revolt and Cagney's brutal performance as Powers, often considered among the best villainous portrayals in Hollywood history. 7. Pulp Fiction, 1994. Quentin Tarantino's crime masterpiece Pulp Fiction remains highly regarded among critics and fans. The film stars a large ensemble, including John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, and Bruce Willis, and follows several stories occurring in the criminal underworld of 1990s Los Angeles. Pulp Fiction was a game-changer for independent cinema, proving that moderately budgeted but ambitious productions could become critical and commercial hits. The film has one of the most dynamic, quotable, and intelligent screenplays out of any gangster movie, full of pop culture references and now iconic lines that cemented its legacy. Using the best from the crime and noir genres, Pulp Fiction is a cinematic triumph towering above most other 90s films. 6. Scarface, 1932. Scarface's first adaptation came in 1932, courtesy of iconic Golden Age director Howard Hawks. Paul Muni stars as Antonio Tony Camonte, an Italian immigrant who viciously rises in the crime world of 1920s Chicago. Boris Karloff and George Raft also starred. The 1932 version of Scarface makes the story's similarities with Al Capone more overt by keeping Tony as an Italian and setting the action in Chicago. However, it retains the themes of excess and morality that also prevail in De Palma's version. A brutal depiction of the American dream and the price it demands, Scarface pushed boundaries and conventions, laying the ground for many future gangster films. 5. Bonnie and Clyde, 1967. Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty star in Arthur Penn's relentless and violent crime drama Bonnie and Clyde. The film dramatizes the infamous romance between Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow, whose criminal career in Depression-era Texas leads them down a bloody path. Bonnie and Clyde was among the early films of the New Hollywood era, a seminal picture that challenged audiences' expectations about on-screen violence. Aiming for realism, the film is a brutal and uncompromising depiction of crime and a scathing yet ironic takedown of the glorification of murder. Bonnie and Clyde began a movement concerning violence on screen, making it one of the most important gangster films in American cinema. 4. White Heat, 1949. James Cagney delivers another of his all-time great performances in the seminal 1949 noir crime drama White Heat. The iconic actor plays Cody Jarrett, a ruthless gang leader who escapes prison following his mother's death and plans a dangerous payroll heist. Unknown to him, his former cellmate is an undercover agent working with the police. Underrated compared to other crime movies, White Heat is a masterpiece of the genre. The film inspired a slew of subsequent heist films that borrowed heavily from its tense and thrilling plot. However, White Heat truly excels thanks to its portrayal of a layered and tragic hero, with Cagney delivering a once-in-a-lifetime performance as the volatile but compelling Jarrett. 3. The Godfather Part II, 1974. Considered by many the greatest gangster film ever made, Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather Part II is a timeless classic. The plot follows two storylines, one set in the present, centering on Michael Corleone's handling of the Corleone crime family following an attempt on his life, the other set in the past and chronicling young Vito Corleone's rise to power. Although divisive at the time of its original release, The Godfather Part II is now considered among the most influential films in American cinema. Going deeper in its nuanced exploration of human nature, greed, ambition, and power, The Godfather Part II is an impressive, daring film and the gold standard for sequels. 2. Goodfellas, 1990. At the peak of Crime Mountain, two figures tower over all others, Coppola and, of course, Martin Scorsese. And at the top of Scorsese's personal mountain, no film ranks higher than his 1990 crime masterpiece Goodfellas. De Niro stars opposite Ray Liotta and a savage Joe Pesci in a story about the rise and fall of Henry Hill's criminal career. Ferocious, relentless, thought-provoking, and visceral, Goodfellas is Scorsese's crowning jewel, a titanic achievement from a director whose career is full of triumphs. The film is grand, sprawling, volcanic, and stylish, an epic saga of criminal proportions offering the ride of a lifetime through a violent and unforgiving world that enthralls and compels. 1. The Godfather, 1972. The Godfather is the ultimate gangster movie. Often imitated but never matched, much less surpassed, The Godfather is a spectacular crime saga and a turning point for American cinema. Marlon Brando stars as Vito Corleone, the head of the powerful Corleone crime family, with the film covering a 10-year period in which his oldest son, Michael, comes to terms with his role as the future Don. Game-changing and pivotal, The Godfather marks a before and after in the new Hollywood era. The film is a brutal and uncompromising deconstruction of the American dream, a family saga posing as a crime epic. Revealing new layers to themes of corruption, legacy, duty, and power, The Godfather is a one-of-a-kind picture and the greatest gangster movie in mainstream cinema.